And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your friend Cheap Ludes. How you doing? Fresh off recording the Our Team podcast. Definitely check out the premiere tomorrow. You know, if you're curious about it, drop a comment down below. I'll give you the link and stuff. I'll be wearing the same outfit because I record them back to back because I have mental problems, I guess. Like, it's what it is. I should take a 5-minute break, but you know what? No, I don't want to. Bringing back a returning series from last year, the Best Cards Under Blank series. Also bringing back the tier list this upcoming week. So, you know, stay tuned for that. I know you guys have been waiting hands and knees for the tier list. That's a weird way to put it. I shouldn't have said that. You're waiting intently for the series to come back. It is what it is. They're coming back finally. Hooray. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this series, I count down the best cards available for under a certain price point, in this case, 100K. Also, 4 honorable mentions in addition to the top 10. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is Stephen Curry. Now, I actually kind of struggled with who to actually put here. The reason being, I just feel like everybody else has a reason to be here, but there's so many cards available for under 100K. I'm not saying that as like a positive, like, yo, so many cheap budget beasts available. It's not really necessarily what I'm saying, but at this stage, it's hard to really define the final one, especially the way like the game is played, so many different play styles. The only reason I chose Steph here is because I think he brings such a unique dynamic. He's really the only card that can effectively 3-hunt at the level that he can 3-hunt. And yes, this card is going to have plenty of weaknesses, but at the same time, it's Stephen Curry, and I mean, that's really all I have to say. Had to take a little break from recording for a second because I almost died choking on a Triscuit. As you can tell, my voice was giving up halfway through the end of that little tirade on Stephen Curry based on the fact that there was a woven wheat lodged in my throat that was attempting to take me out. Silence me, as it were. Anyways, next up is a card that we've all probably run into. If you're playing online, you've definitely run into this for sure. And that would be Benedict Matheran. Benedict Matheran is incredibly solid. Now, is he the most overpowered card in the world? No, but he, once again, just like Steph Curry, has something that other cards just don't. And in the case of Benedict Matheran, that thing is one of the best and fastest jump shots in the game, which is near impossible. I don't want to say impossible to contest, but very difficult to contest if you are skilled enough with it, right? And the fact that he's only like 15K, and he gives you a good, you know, kind of variation of things too. Like, not only can he attack the rim, he plays pretty solid defense as well, but he has that near uncontestable jump shot while being 6'7", 210 at the 2 guard as well. Benedict Matheran for sure is worthy of a look, and that's why he gets the number 2 spot in the honorable mentions. Another big body shooting guard that gets an honorable mention here is RJ Barrett. Now, RJ Barrett is not the best card in the world. I will state that. I mean, there's a lot of people that like this card. He is a little bit on the pricier side too. Like, to a certain extent, I think Matheran might be a little better than him in some aspects. But RJ Barrett's still good. 6'6", so he's not quite as big as Matheran, technically speaking. They look about the same size, though. It doesn't really matter. He has a much better badge count with a worse release. So, yeah, you're kind of trading off release for badges at this point. It's not like RJ's release is bad, but it's not quite as good. They do share similarities in certain badges like guard up and stuff like that. And RJ is not the best, but if you're not really feeling Matheran, like for any reason, maybe the jump shot's a little too fast to be used online, which is definitely a thing, RJ Barrett is definitely worth a look. Shout out to all my Knicks fans out there. He's the only glimmer of hope you guys have. Next up, final honorable mention, Andre Karolinko. You know, people were really hyped on this card when he first came out, and people are kind of sleeping on him now. I still think this card is more than usable. Like, especially if you can find a badged up version. Like, people are still using Andre Karolinko. Like, yes, he has a slower release, but it's really easy to green. He plays lockdown defense. He can guard ball. He can do everything. The only reason people don't use Andre Karolinko anymore is just because much better cards have come out. A lot of people gave up on Karolinko when people started getting Pippen and like Iguodala and stuff like that, but Andre Karolinko can still hold his own. Also, look at this man hooping in Nike Shocks, dude. I was going to say Nike socks. I guarantee he has Nike socks on too, but Nike Shocks. Do you remember Nike Shocks? I've went on this tirade before, but I swear there was this kid in my middle school that swore to everything that he loved, that the Nike Shocks gave him a boost on his vertical. And I absolutely did not believe it then, and I do not believe it now. 100%, there is no way these Shocks actually provided anything except for maybe And I say maybe a little bit of like recoil when you landed from a jump, which, let's be real, this is middle school Catholic basketball that I'm referring to right now. I think our knees were all safe, and not many of us had bounce like that, so I don't really think it matters. Like, if I'm being honest, but he swore he got a boost on his vertical, which I said middle school Catholic basketball, like there was not a lot of vertical to be had to begin with, so maybe he was right. I don't know. Number 10, the number 10 best card under 100K, my starting center, Bol Bol. Bol Bol is pretty cheap, like around 10K, and I would say he's probably one of the better value cards in this game. There's not very many centers that you can run that are going to bring you what Bol Bol brings you for this price point. Look, is he a liability from an interior defense perspective? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's goated on the interior. No. He can get some blocks. He does a pretty good job of contesting, especially if you're trying to shoot perimeter. Like, you can contest with Bol Bol relatively well, but really easy to time and easy to learn jump shot. He's also lanky. He's going to get a bunch of boards too. Not as many as you'd like him to get, but like, all I'm saying is if you've been following the meta all year and you just kind of want to shake it up, you know, it's not working out for you as is, and you want to try something a little different, like Bol Bol can definitely get things done. He's still my starting center for a reason, honestly. Like, he is. Next up, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is interesting. It won't let me search him, but he's about 30K. JR is nasty. Like, he plays a little bit of defense. He can dunk. He has a good jump shot. He's just a very well-rounded shooting guard. If you're looking for like a well-rounded shooting guard that's not going to break your bank but still provide pretty good numbers, like, JR is definitely someone who deserves to be there. I mean, you can make the case that Jalen Green should be here too, but I mean, I say they're not that much different. I just like JR because he plays defense a little bit better, but you could say Jalen Green is there too. They're very similar. Next up, number 8, Ron Artest. People really love the pink diamond, and I totally understand that the pink diamond is way better. But I think people are sleeping on the diamond Ron Artest. Like, diamond Ron Artest can still hold it down too. He plays clamped up, lockdown defense for sure. Also, look at the crazy eyes, dude. He has psychotic looking eyes, which is definitely like a beneficiary or like a beneficial thing for your team. I don't know why I said beneficiary. Like, my man's not collecting an insurance policy that we know of. Who knows? But like, it benefits your team to have someone that can play lockdown defense like this. I mean, he's got gold glove, great tendencies. The badge count is legit, very good release. So even though his 3-point rating isn't good, his release is nice. And you can find ones with like shoe additions and stuff like that for 16,000. And that's without a doubt worthwhile in some capacity. Plus, it's Ron Artest, man. He hasn't been in 2K in years. Like, you know, it's like, what's up? Number 7. I have my issues with this card for sure, but Karl Anthony Towns. Cat's good. He actually plays better defense than you would expect, honestly. He's actually a really solid rebounder. He can play the center or the power forward relatively well. He has Hoff guard up, Claymore, corner specialist, and catch and shoot too, so if you activate those badges, he's going to be good. He's actually decent on the interior too. Like, you can definitely paint mash with him if you're trying to follow that meta. But he's also going to bring you the ability to stretch the floor too. I personally hate his jump shot with like a burning passion. Like, I'm just really not good with it, but at the same time, I mean, if you can sit there and learn that jump shot and you can hit open jumpers with Cat consistently, you're going to be set up pretty well. Like, Cat's going to definitely hold it down. And like I said, is he going to be able to stop the best centers in the game on the defensive end? No. Is he going to get the occasional stop? Yeah, for sure. And that's really all that you can do in this game at this current moment. I ran him for a while. Next up, number 6? Yeah, I have to look at my own notes sometimes to see what number. Michael Porter Jr., which Michael Olawakandi's in the game. Oh, you serious right now? I'm sorry. I just saw the Candy Man, dude. You know, he got arrested at an Indianapolis sports bar because he refused to leave. And then on stream, I looked up the sports bar and it looks so garbage. I just want to point that out. You should definitely check out my NBA crimes video that I did because I talk about this in detail. Anyways, Michael Porter Jr., really good. Honestly, there's not very many power forwards that you can buy that are as well-rounded as Michael Porter Jr., period. Like, there's not. He's 6'10". He can guard the post. He can guard the perimeter. He's tall. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. I mean, in addition to that, corner specialist, green machine, volume shooter, off-ball best with a really, really solid release. Back down punisher, so we can back him down if you really want him to. Good amount of gold and silver badges. Got a few bronzes in there, which doesn't really matter, but He does have like bronze glove, which you can increase if you so choose to do so. Michael Porter Jr. may surprise you with how good he actually is. Like, yeah, you've heard people say he's not good or he's mid or whatever, but like at the same time, MPJ kind of goes hard. Like, he's a little bit on the expensive side for what he is, but like, honestly, power forward is kind of a hard position to fill at this stage from like a budget perspective, and MPJ may be significantly better than you would expect him to be. I'm dead serious. Number 5. This is a card that everyone pretty much knows about at this point. This card used to be 100K, but it's not anymore. Carmelo. Carmelo is kind of what I would consider a specialist card. Like, his jump shot is one of those things you're either going to be really good with it or really bad with it. There's really no in-between with Carmelo. So that's why he's a little bit farther down. But his jump shot, if you're able to green it consistently, is so overpowered, it's almost impossible to play defense against unless you're playing against like a top player in the game. Now, for that reason, I think he deserves to be up here because you could actually break games with Carmelo relatively easy. It's just a matter of if you're hitting jump shots, which, you know, I gotta say, for realism points, very similar to real life. If Carmelo's hitting jump shots, especially contested ones consistently, he was almost one of the most impossible players to stop, period. But he bricked a lot too, which is, you know, kind of on barn with this card, dude, honestly. I think I said on barn instead of on bar. I am out of my mind right now. I don't know what's going on, dude. I am losing it. Next up, number 4, new card just came out, and I gotta say, I'm surprised. Now, the jump shot on Dejounte Murray is not great. I will be the first to tell you that. I actually think he plays a lot better as a shooting guard than he does a point guard, but he gets to the rim with relative ease. He's got a high driving dunk tendency. He plays lights out defense. Dejounte Murray may be one of, if not, no, he's not the best. I can tell you that number 3 is a better budget point guard than him, but he's one of the best budget point guards in this game. I know people said he's mid. Once again, this list is full of guys that like a lot of content creators are going to say suck, but I promise that Dejounte Murray may actually surprise you with how good he is. That jump shot, not great though. Has a little bit of a hitch. I mean, once you get used to it, it should be fine, but it's going to throw you off for the first couple games. Next up, number 3, my favorite card in the game. It's not even close at this moment. Alex Caruso. Look at this man. This man should not be hooping at the level that he hoops. This dude gets more off-ball steals than any card in the game. He will rip any point guard that you play against. Westbrook, Rose, Donovan Mitchell, doesn't matter. This man will roll up and your CPU will just swipe the ball all day like Swiper the Fox, dude. Caruso is a god. And if you think that's the only reason he's good, you're wrong, because he also dunks on over like everybody. He dunks over everybody. It's insane. In addition to that, pretty decent jump shot too. It's not really the fastest. It's very reminiscent of Jason Kidd, actually. Caruso's not that much different than Kidd. He just dunks the ball harder, which is why I like him. Like, look at Caruso. He looks like a man with a Hims prescription, but that doesn't really mean anything because he balls out efficiently. He honestly reminds me of Billy Hoyle from White Man Can't Jump. Like, he looks inauspicious. Like, you don't think he can hoop, but he can hoop with the best of them. No joke. I love Caruso. He's my starting point guard. Next up, my starting shooting guard. Obviously, I like budget cards, so Lance Stephenson. Lance Stephenson's like, I got him for 18K today. Crazy. Lance is a monster. Like, Lance is so good. Just like Caruso, I mean, everything I said about Caruso goes for Lance too. He doesn't get quite as many steals as Caruso, but he will steal the ball. He gets a bunch of rebounds though. He also just plays lockdown defense. I mean, you can guard ball with Caruso, yes, obviously, but with Lance Stephenson, he's just nice. He's so well-rounded. Anything you want to do with Lance, he can do it. He's not the greatest at attacking the rim, but he can definitely do it. His jump shot's good. He handles the ball well. Perimeter defense is on point. Lance Stephenson is just an absolute nightmare. Well worthy of 18K. Number 1, I mean, I'm sure you guys expect this, but like, it couldn't be anyone else. Well, I wish it was Jarrett Jack. Do you remember how fire Jarrett Jack was? And I think that was 2K21 when he had the Ruby. Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is super expensive. Like, let's not get it twisted here. Like, Jarrett Allen is pretty expensive. At 35K, that's a little bit much, but the jump shot, some people don't like it, some people do. 6'10", he's able to do things that no other center in this game that is under 100K can do. He can get paint stops while at the same time stretching the floor, while at the same time being fast enough to actually like get around bigger centers like a Sabonis or an Ilgauskas. He can kind of do it all. I mean, he's not going to be dribbling the ball. I mean, that's the one thing he's not going to be doing. But really, no centers that are under 100K can dribble. That can also shoot, so it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, he's better than Ilgauskas. He's better than Sabonis at certain aspects. Obviously, not paint mashing. But the issue is like, most centers, there's going to be a default weakness with them. Like, Bol can stretch the floor, but he's going to get abused inside, right? Someone like Ilgauskas or Sabonis, they're going to abuse inside and be able to stretch the floor, but they're horrendously slow. You don't have that with Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is fast enough to keep up with some of the faster centers in the game. He's got enough interior strength to keep up with like an Ilgauskas or a Sabonis. Granted, he's going to get scored on, but that's just the game in general. And he can shoot well enough to just basically destroy a zone defense. Like, Jarrett Allen is the most beneficial card that you can possibly add to your lineup for under 100K. Keep in mind, different play styles are going to call for different things. So I do my best to make this as well-rounded as possible. If you think another card should have been on here, jump in the comments below. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'll come back with the budget cards tomorrow.